Hey Fae folk, welcome back. So, a lot of you may know that Rainbow High historically as a brand has had a habit of taking like actual real life designer fashion pieces that you can physically buy and translating them almost one to one onto their dolls. In all fairness, I do think that they do this less now. At the very least, I hear it talked about less now since Rainbow High has had their reboot and sort of shifted more towards slime and children. But like in the heyday, in the golden age of Rainbow High, they used to do this all the time. Like almost every doll had some sort of direct fashion reference to real world designer brands. And because of that, my brain went, you could figure out how much these outfits cost. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to go through the original 6 Rainbow High characters, their like original core outfits according to the art that was on the boxes, because like they did come with 2 outfits. That was going to be too much for me to do. Okay, so we just went with what was like in the official art, and we're going to calculate out how much those outfits cost. Now, first of all, I need to give a huge shout out to the Dolls in Vogue Tumblr page, who already did a large portion of this work for me. Like they have a whole like almost encyclopedia of a blog of different like stuff that relates to fashion and dolls and how the two intersect. So you should definitely check them out. Specifically, I was obviously using like the Rainbow High portion of their blog where they talk about the different correspondences between Rainbow High fashion and actual real world fashion. So whenever I'm making a reference that is like pulled directly from that blog, I will be letting you know, and I will be like, giving credit where credit is due there. There are a lot of other places online. I did have to ask you guys, shout out to all of you who answered. There are a lot of other places online that do similar things, but a lot of the other ones I found had like specifically Shadow High references or like they didn't have the original 6 characters. So I really just used the Dolls in Vogue Tumblr page, there we go, as my main reference for these. And anything that they didn't have references for, which like they had references for a lot, okay? Like I want to shout them out. I want to give them their credit. They also didn't have references for a lot. I had to come up with out of my own noggin, which was hard because I'm someone who knows very little about fashion in general, and especially when it comes to designer brands. That's not for me. So this might be a little bit of a descent into chaos, but regardless, today we are answering the question of how much do the Rainbow High characters' outfits cost. So for this little endeavor, we are going to be going in rainbow order because it's called Rainbow High. What other order would I possibly be going in? So we are going to be starting off by taking a look at Ruby Anderson and her outfit and calculating how much it cost. We got to start off really nice and easy for me because the hat was something that was referenced on the Dolls in Vogue Tumblr page. Ruby is referencing, or rather she's wearing a hat that's referencing a Von Dutch hat. Now I did think that this was sort of just more generalized, like it was less like, hey, it's this specific Von Dutch hat. We are going to have some very specific references later in the video, but like this one was really just like, oh yeah, Von Dutch, like their specific trucker hats, like that's what we're going for. The image that you're seeing on screen here, or that you will be seeing on screen here, I'm not 100% sure how I'm editing this. That's irrelevant. I found a Von Dutch hat that has flames on it. Ruby Anderson's hat has flames on it, so that felt appropriate. Now for this, I did just go to their website. They currently had this hat in stock, and I didn't use the sale price because like you can't guarantee that we're getting anything on a sale. And so that I just thought that would be like a really easy rule to go through all of the characters with. Like if there's a sale price, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the original price. So Ruby is starting off with a crisp $89 on her Von Dutch hat, which like, listen, I need to say this out the gate actually. If you're watching this and you're someone who buys designer clothing and like designer fashion, like if you're super into it, first of all, I'm sorry. I'm sure I'm going to be wildly inaccurate and extremely annoying throughout this entire video. But also, I'm not here to judge you for your life choices. I will be talking about how I think it's insane to spend $89 on a hat, but if that makes you happy, you do you, okay? Like, I just need you to know that whenever I make those disparaging comments, because I'm sure they're gonna come out, it's not that I'm like, oh my God, people who buy designer are stupid. It's just that I can't imagine myself ever doing that. I hope that that makes sense. I hope you get the distinction, whatever. Moving on to the rest of what Ruby is wearing. The next item is this shirt that she has that is just like plain white t-shirt, except it has a little red block of font across the middle that says Sparkle on it. I actually didn't need the Dolls in Vogue blog to tell me that this was a Supreme t-shirt, but they did, note it on their blog anyway, so I still want to shout them out. But this was like one of the only pieces that I just knew by myself because I feel like it's so overt and obvious. This was another thing that was like currently available basically on the Supreme website. I don't think that literally the exact same one was. Like it might have been like black with a white block instead of white with a red block or something, but it's clearly very comparable. So the price that we are going for with her Supreme shirt is 44 US dollars. Also, these prices are all going to be in US dollars because that is the currency that I utilize. I apologize. Then with the like sort of bustier top that she's wearing on top of the Supreme shirt, I came to my first roadblock, which was the fact that this was not listed as a reference on the Tumblr page that I was using. And so I had to just figure it out by myself, which critique me if you must, I was doing my best. I did know going into this that I wanted to try to have everything be designer brands to a certain extent. Like, not everything literally had to be like Gucci or Prada or Louis Vuitton, like the most expensive possible thing that I could find. But I do just feel like, I don't know, if you have this lineup of dolls in this fantasy world where this girl is going to high school and she's wearing a Von Dutch hat and a Supreme t-shirt, I was just gonna let her also be wearing designer everything else. I hope that makes sense. So I just went out searching for literally red designer bustier because I'm stupid. I'm uneducated. I don't know this stuff. The closest thing that I was able to find, it's not exact, but you know what? I think it is close enough, is this bustier by Skims. That one was not currently available. It was just like something that I found that they had put out at some point. So I just went to the Skims website and I found the only corset that they currently have in stock, and I used that as the price tag. I guess let me know if that pisses you off. I was doing my best here because, like, again, someone who's not part of this world, I have no idea. I'm sure that there are references and places that you can go to look to find the original prices of all of these items, but I'm not the person who knows how to do that actually. So we just went with something similar. So we're calling the Skims Bustier $88. So things are stacking up for Miss Ruby here. Then for the flannel that she has tied around her waist, this is another thing that wasn't like an out and out reference. I mean, to be fair, so many different brands make flannels, right? Like it's not a super hyper unique piece, so it sort of makes sense that it might not be a literal one-to-one reference. So with this, I made another decision, and that was that not only should I be trying to find designer items, but also if I can find a designer item that matches one of the confirmed brands that is on the doll, if there are multiples, or like if there's only one, the confirmed brand on the doll, then I should absolutely be doing that. And lucky for me, Supreme makes flannel. Is Ruby Anderson wearing a Supreme flannel? I have absolutely no proof of that, but I have independently decided that she is. And so because of that, I once again used pricing available for a similar item that is currently available on the Supreme website, and we're pricing her Supreme flannel. The image is actually of a Supreme flannel. It's just you can't buy this exact one right now, but we're pricing her Supreme flannel at $148. With the pants, we did go back to me having a direct reference to pull off of, which was some pants that walked a Machino runway in like 2019 or something like that. I did hunt, okay? I really did try to find an original price, and you will see later on that there are times where I'm looking for an item that is not currently available that I still managed to find an original price for them. This was not one of those moments. So again, I kind of just was like, let me find something that looks like it might be a similar material with similar like levels of embellishment on the Machino website. And I just used some pants that are currently available to price these. I could be super duper wrong. Oh well, this is just a silly little video about fashion dolls. Her Machino pants are $965. Suddenly, the hat doesn't seem so expensive. But we do still have one more item to go for, and that is her heels, which are Louboutin heels. And those are pretty easy to price because they're literally currently available, which is super simple for me. And those are $1,195. So once again, sort of making the hat not seem quite so bad. With all of those numbers in mind, that brings Ruby Anderson's outfit total to a whopping 2,529 US dollars. At the very end of the video, we will be crowning who had the cheapest outfit as well as who had the most expensive outfit. So stay tuned to see if Ruby is an outlier or if she is just on par with all of her other classmates. And the next of her classmates that we're going to be looking at is Poppy Rowan, who immediately caused just so much more strife for me. Okay. Like I went through Ruby first and I had to like find a couple of things and like the pricing was a little bit difficult, but that wasn't too hard. Poppy was very, very difficult to deal with because on the Tumblr page I was using, only her boots were listed as a reference, which meant that the entire rest of this outfit I had to just like freeball and figure my own shit out. And I did not want to have to do that. And yet here we are. So this time we are going to be going bottom up because that's how I did this one, because I was just like, well, let me get the one thing that I can do out of the way. And I guess I'll panic in 5 more minutes. So Poppy's boots that say for flying on the side and have the monarch butterfly motif going on there are references to the off-white for walking boot. The exact boot that was listed on the Dolls in Vogue Tumblr page is not available on Off-White's website. However, they do have other for walking boots that are extremely similar, and so I just said they're probably the same price, and that price is $1,350. So like, because we're going bottom up, we're really getting the expensive stuff out of the way quick for Poppy. Then I had to figure out the dress, and then I was just like, okay, designer orange dress. I honestly, like, it would have been really, really funny to film me trying to find these things, but it also would have been humiliating, and so we didn't do that. I could not find an off-white dress that was similar to the dress that Poppy wears. That doesn't mean the one doesn't exist. That just means that me and my silly little brain and silly little fingers couldn't find one. So I, immediately was like, okay, well, I can't do off-white. Like, again, I can't just base it off that brand. So I just have to find a different one, a different designer who had made a dress similar to Poppy. And I ended up finding a designer called, I want to say it's Anye Bai. I could be super, super wrong about how to pronounce that name. I do apologize. I also didn't write down where they're based because they're not like, Louboutin, like everyone's heard of Louboutin. It's not like that levels of famousness, but they are technically speaking a designer brand. My brain says that I should be saying that they're Australian, but I don't know if that's true because I think I read that for like 3 different brands that we're going to end up seeing throughout this video. I'm a little bit of a disaster. Is this a good time to disclose that while I was putting these numbers together, I was high on edibles? I feel like that might contextualize some things. Anyway, though, I was able to find this dress that I thought was reasonably similar to what Poppy is wearing in her art. And I didn't find this dress on the like actual Anye by designer website, but I did find it on a like other retailer that had the original price listed as a reference point. So we're just going to assume that that was correct and the dress was $339. I'm really going to have to stop like disparaging every decision that I made, or else this video is going to be super duper long. Anyway, next up was her top, and this was even harder to find than anything else. Like, even more so than Ruby's bustier top. They're both wearing very similar, like, cuts, styles, and materials, and all of that jazz. But I don't know, I guess just, like, the fact of it being orange was really difficult. And I am saying the color specifically. Some of you might already be thinking what I would not realize until, I think, literally violet. And that is the fact that, like, the inspiration doesn't have to be the same color as the actual product on the doll. Like the 4 walking boots are black and Poppy's are monarch butterfly colored. But I didn't think about that until the end. So I was studiously looking not just very bustier, because I could have at this point just been like, oh yeah, let's just use any off-white bustier if they have that. No, I was looking specifically for an orange one because I don't know why my brain works this way. So anyway, I found a brand called Alex Perry, and they have this top that I think is, similar-ish, and it's orange, and it's $850, and that's what I've decided Poppy is wearing. Okay, so then that brings us to her coat. Do you remember when I said that I was like, okay, everything has to be designer? And that was a rule that I set for myself with Ruby and a rule that I had been following up until this point. Well, because I couldn't shake the need for it to have to be orange, I was like, I just can't find a coat that's close enough. And again, a coat like that might exist, but I think we've established that this is more of like a fun, silly exercise than any sort of actual logic at this point. And the closest coat that I could find that I really saw and was just like, that's it, that's the one, was from Fashion Nova. And I thought to myself, you know what, that's close enough. Actually, in my notes, I wrote, immediately had to break the rule and go to Fashion Nova, but also they'd shop Fashion Nova. Come on now. I don't know if that's true, but it's what I wrote in my notes. So it's what we're going with. And it's only $60. So good for her. She's being a little more thrifty than she was with her boots. The last component to Poppy's outfit before I can give you a grand fat total here is another one that I can't pronounce the name of probably, so very, very sorry. Onasavu Creations, maybe? They are little butterfly hair clips, and to be fair, there are so many little butterfly hair clips that I probably could have picked anything, but I found these. They're from a small designer, and something about these ones in particular, like the thin little bobby pin connection and like the fluttery element, it just sort of felt right. I don't know. They're $187, and I have single-handedly decided that that's what she's got stuck into her head. So all of that brings Poppy up to a total of $2,786, which is only a couple $100 more than Ruby. So far, pretty neck and neck, pretty even level. Let's see if Sunny will follow that trend. So for Sunny, once again, we're going bottom up, and we are referencing these Gucci platform sneakers that were mentioned on the Dolls and Vogue Tumblr page. Shout out to them. I wasn't able to find out a price for like these very, very hyper specific ones, but I was able to find a shoe that was nearly identical to this that was Gucci and Adidas. And that one cost $1,290. And so that's just the price tag that we're using for that. For the socks, listen, everyone has made these knee high, like thigh high rainbow topped socks, especially around June. Everyone has these. So I found a brand called American Socks. Her American socks are $20. For the dress, we did sort of go closer to the Fashion Nova route because, again, you have to realize in my head, I'm thinking I need to find the closest thing to Sunny's literal dress. Not something that might be close but in a different color, or close but it was long. I needed to find the closest thing I could to her actual dress, which meant it had to be yellow and it had to have some form of like polka dots on it, ideally sheer, which is a lot to ask, sort of. But I found this Opali dress that is literally exactly what I needed. And the reason I say it's sort of similar, like Fashion Nova, in my mind, is that it's not a designer brand, like it's not like her Gucci shoes, but I do feel like it's a pretty popular brand. Like I've definitely heard the words "Oh Polly" a lot. I don't think by anyone I actually know, but I've heard them a lot online. And so I was like, okay, well, it seems to be a trendy enough brand. I can justify this. And also, it's perfect. So that's what we went with. And it was $128. Funnily enough, the jacket was not on the blog as far as I remember. I didn't note it down. So whether that's like a clerical error or whether it actually wasn't, who can say? But Gucci has a jacket that is extremely similar to what Sunny is wearing. To be fair, it's a track jacket. So I guess you could say that it's another one of those things that like so many different brands have. But she was wearing Gucci shoes, which means that's a confirmed brand that she shops for. So I found this gold Gucci jacket and I was like, that's sort of perfect. And so I priced it based on, again, currently available Gucci jackets in a similar vein, and it is $1,980. And then finally for her earrings, Sunny is just wearing like these really, really basic little like gemstone stud earrings. So again, like a lot of elements I feel like are just that you can find this anywhere. But obviously I wanted to get her something like sort of nice, so I just went on the K Jewelers website and I found some yellow citrine earrings. They're $250. That decision brings Sunny's total up to $3,668, which is nearly $1,000 more than Poppy's outfit was. So we're getting a little pricier here. However, I think you can already guess that Jade is not going to be like that. Jade's initial doll was very heavily influenced by the style of Billie Eilish at the time, and so it does have a more down-to-earth feel. Not to say that Billie like was wearing cheap shit at that point in time. I'm just saying these are more familiar, I think, elements to the average layperson than some of the other things that we've covered. And you'll see that even some of the confirmed brands are a little bit more attainable than like the Gucci sneakers that we just saw with Sunny. This is another one that we're going bottom up. Sorry. But we had a confirmation, okay? So I had to go for it. I had a confirmation via the blog that I've been referencing for her shoes being a reference to some very specific Nike sneakers that I was able to find an article that told me how much they originally retailed for. I told you at some point I was going to have like concrete evidence. This was my concrete evidence. So her shoes cost $160, which like is still a lot, but also it's definitely more reasonable than some of the other things that we have seen and some of the other things that we will be seeing. Moving on up to Jade's shorts. Yeah, I wasn't kidding about the Billie Eilish thing. It's to the extent like this doll is so clearly referencing Billie Eilish's iconic style at the time that she's literally wearing Billie Eilish X Freak City shorts. Like this is a direct reference that I pulled from the blog. They're one to one. It's kind of hilarious. But I was able to find an article confirming the price of these as well. So they were $60, which again, a little bit more reasonable. Next up, her shirt is an antisocial social club. That's like weirdly hard for me to say, but it's just like their name on a shirt. This is another one that was confirmed from the blog, and it is currently available on their website. So this was super easy for me all around. $45 added to her total. Unfortunately, the like cited references did run dry when I got to her coat, but this wasn't too terrible. I did find a green puffer. It's not the exact green. We're starting to realize it doesn't have to be here. It just wouldn't click fully yet. But yeah, I just decided to give her a Columbia puffer jacket because like it seemed in line with the brands that she was already wearing. Like these are definitely more designer brands in the sense of like if you just need a pair of gym shorts, you're probably not going to spend $60 on your gym shorts. Like if you just need something. If you're just like I need sneakers for one day that I'm going to be walking, you might spend closer to like $50 to $70 max on your sneakers if you're someone like me who just is like I'm probably not going to wear these that often and I don't want to spend that much money on them. But these numbers are still attainable. You know what I'm saying? Like someone who is into shoes or is into running, maybe not these specific Nike shoes, but like buying Nike to invest in your shoes is something that a normal person might be doing, whether they have that money like just readily available and they're like a little bit more affluent in that way, or whether it's something that they're saving up for. It's a lot to spend $160 on shoes, but it's not like thousands of dollars a lot. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the shorts. Yes, maybe for like some people, gym shorts, $60, it's going to be like, that's crazy. But it could be so much worse. So I'm saying all that to say the reason I chose to give Jade a Columbia jacket is because I felt like it was a relatively quality brand. Like I feel like people talk about Columbia pretty favorably, but it is also a slightly more down to earth brand. Average everyday people can wear Columbia puffers, and like $160 for a decent coat is actually like not that horrible of a price. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That's just what I did. She got that. And then for the hat, I completely made this up as well, but this is like almost exactly the hat that she comes up with. It's a Vans beanie, and like yes, everyone makes beanies, but I do think that something about this being Vans branded just felt correct. So it's $20. That brings Jade's total up to a whopping $445, by far the lowest that we've seen so far. Will Skylar or Violet dethrone her as the cheapest dressing of the bunch? That sounds like an insult. Find out. I don't know. Okay, Skylar, our denim girly pop. I have to say, I went into this being like, okay, she's really only wearing denim, like for the most part. So this is surely quite approachable. Anyway, starting off top to bottom this time with her off-white jacket. This one was a reference that I pulled from the blog, so that was super easy for me to just not have to do too much. This is one that I priced again based off of similar jackets that are currently available because I couldn't find the initial one. Her off-white jacket is $420. Then Skylar's just wearing like a basic white crop top, which you can get from anywhere from like Walmart to I assume the like biggest fashion houses. I don't really know. I don't look these things up normally, but I had said before I wanted these characters wearing designer if I could make it happen, and I wanted them to be consistent with their designer choices if I could make it happen. So I just decided to use an off-white top, which do I think most people, oh my gosh, a phone call. No, it was just a spam risk. I don't know what was up with that. Do I think that most people are buying like a basic white crop top from the brand Off-White? No. But am I saying that Skylar did that? Yeah. And this is currently available and it costs $325. Then came her denim bustier. Why was this so hard? I don't know. I did find several different options for a denim bustier. I don't know why really I chose this. Like I feel like it's going to come across like I was like, let's just rack this price up as much as I possibly can. But really and truly, it was because I felt like the shape of the bustier was quite similar. It does have chain straps instead of like fabric straps, but I just felt like the shape was so good and so correct compared to a lot of other ones that I was seeing. And there wasn't like a ton of extra embellishment. So I randomly found this Oscar de la Renta denim top that cost $1,490, and I was like, that's probably what she's wearing. So I'm kind of a menace. For the belt, funnily enough, this was on the Dolls and Vogue Tumblr page, but not under Skylar. It was listed under Ruby because Ruby's doll for her second outfit comes with this same belt. So I still was able to like utilize that. It's an off-white belt, and I was able to find like some article that had been written about it that had an actual price listed. So this was $345. Then at this point, I'm like, okay, 3 out of the 4 items that we've done are off-white, and also on the doll specifically, like the jacket and the skirt have the same printing on the side. So I thought it was fair to go ahead and try to use off-white again for the denim skirt. I didn't see one that was like one to one with Skylar's the same way that the jacket was pretty much one to one, just a very, very slightly different like color in there. So once again, I was just like, okay, let me see what's similar, what's like available right now. And so that's how I got, this skirt. And I found a price tag of $255 for, general off white denim skirts. The more that I say this, the more I'm like, this was so silly goofy of you. You have no idea what you're doing. But I'm way, way too far in to quit now. Like, this took a ton of work. The boots, funnily enough, were the hardest piece. Like, this was so difficult. She has transparent platform, like combat style boots, which is a shoe that I have owned. Not in a long time, but straight out of high school, I had a pair of transparent combat boots that I only wore a couple times before I was like, oh, no, these don't work for people because your feet get hot and then you sweat a little bit and you condensate and it's gross. Like wearing them in person, it was genuinely icky. But I did have these, so I knew that they existed. But I swear to God, like I was having such a hard time finding any of them that were not only designer. Like I was fine with eschewing the designer aspect at this point. Obviously, we've had entries from Fashion Nova and Opoly. Okay, I was willing to lower the bar just a little bit, but I couldn't find any that even seemed like they were on reputable websites. Like, funnily enough, this just seems like something that is more common in like eBay or like, okay, we're not going to get into the whole discussion of like, is AliExpress technically reputable or does it have a bad reputation just because it's not from America? Because like, that's not what this video is about. And I have to rein myself back. But I will say that like, it's not like the vibe that I was going for, like the lowest that I had gone was again like Fashion Nova, Opoly, that sort of situation. And so I really wanted to try to not have to be like, let me see what's on Temu, let me see what's on AliExpress, because that just didn't feel true to the challenge. So I just needed to make that note here. I finally came across some Dior clear boots and an article that priced them at $650, and I just called it a day. That was close enough. Okay, I was this close to having to use Walmart, like a third party random seller on Walmart, until I saw these, and I was like, all right, you know what? You're mostly wearing off white, and then you have Dior shoes, and that's just gonna be that. Now, to be fair, I did make some choices with Skylar here. And I do think this is kind of an interesting exercise too, because with denim specifically, it feels like you could definitely get this whole outfit for a fraction of the cost, or you could get it for way more expensive. But the total that she ended up getting was $3,486, which funnily enough, even though I felt like high key guilty about some of my choices, most notably the denim bustier being over $1,000, she isn't even the most expensive thus far. So really, I think it's fine. That brings us to our final entry for today's video, and that is Violet Willow. Once again, we're going to be going bottom up because I had an actual reference point to start off with from the Dolls and Vogue Tumblr if I went bottom up, and obviously that's just a lot easier. So Violet is wearing some Gucci little like strappy platform sandals, and I was able to find a price in an article to accurately price these, which was awesome. They are 1,300 and 200. That's not $1,320. There we go. 1,300, 200. Good God. I haven't even been filming long enough to like justify how scatterbrained I am. But with that as the starting point, we moved on up. I forgot her socks. I don't want to hear anything about socks in the comments. I'm banning the word socks for this video in particular. We're just gonna pretend I didn't see that. It's not gonna matter. So her dress. I had no reference point for her dress. I just knew that it was glimmery and sparkly and has like a vague little V-neck shape, and it's short. And this was the exact light bulb moment where I went, it doesn't have to be purple. I can find something that isn't purple if it's a close enough match. Again, I know it's very embarrassing to admit that I didn't have that lightning bolt moment up until the literal last character I was doing this for. I don't know what to tell you. I truly don't know what to tell you. Outside of the fact that I found this silver sequin Prada dress that just felt literally perfect. Like, this is exactly what she's wearing, minus the bows on the shoulder, only in silver instead of purple. So it was kind of a no-brainer. We were going to go for that. And this Prada dress retails for $6,300. So I do feel like I found the perfect item, and I do feel like I was completely justified in this, and I do feel like this is the correct answer. But also I did blow everyone else out of the water immediately with one article of clothing. Also, this is kind of interesting to note that outside of the thing that I definitely didn't forget and definitely just isn't present in the artwork at all, what are you talking about? Violet only has 3 items as opposed to some of the other characters who had so many items. Then we have her coat here. Listen, I'm just going to say this out and out. Like, I understand the debate between faux fur and real fur. I fully understand it. Like, I would never support killing an animal just for their skin. I can't understand where faux fur has gotten to the point now where like the factories and production of these synthetics is causing other problems. I'm not here to get into the debate because this is in fact just a stupid little game in my head. I just wanted to get ahead of that because I didn't want anyone to be like in the comments saying you're an evil person for using a real fur coat in this fictional thought exercise. I understand the moral complexities. I really and truly do. I'm not saying I'm in support of real fur, but I am saying that this like looks exactly like what she's wearing. So we went with this my apologies again if I pronounce incorrectly, Scandinavic. No. I'm going to stop trying because it's really embarrassing. I found this coat. It is $2,100, but it's literally identical minus the little stripes of like sparkle. It's identical. Come on. I had to use it. So with those, potentially questionable choices and certainly not an absence of anything, Violet's total comes up to $9,720, which means that Violet gets to be crowned our most expensive gal of the bunch, which I do think is appropriate. And I swear to you, this was not influencing my decision whatsoever in the pieces that I chose for her. In fact, I actually found a coat. I hope I screenshotted it. No, I didn't. That's rude of me. But I actually found a coat that matched even a little bit better, except it was like $21,000. And I went, that's too far. So I was not like artificially inflating these numbers. But Violet is the most expensive. And I do think that that's appropriate because back in the initial lineup, when they were actually trying to give these characters personalities and like attempting to give them individual style. Violet was supposed to be the one who likes the things that are most expensive and glamorous and sparkly, and just all of those things. Like the most ostentatious stuff is the stuff that Violet is supposed to be drawn to. So I do think that it's quite fitting that she had the most expensive outfit of any character. That, of course, does mean that Jade is our queen of couponing. I was like, ooh, what's another thing that starts with a k sound? And my brain went couponing. There's whatever. She's the queen of being a little bit thriftier, a little bit more conscious of her wallet because she only spent $445, which is much less than any of the other characters. So, sort of arbitrary crowns because I did sort of make a lot of this up. but it was really fun for me to do, and I hope it was fun for you to watch. Let me know if you think any of my decisions were ridiculous. Let me know if you think all of my decisions were correct. I hope to hear a lot more of that. Part of me wants to be like, if you guys really love this, I'll do a part two with like series two or like with the first series of Shadow High. But also, this was so annoying. Like, it was fun to film and like to prepare for and everything like that. Except it was also just so stressful trying to find like the right answers and looking into this world that I know nothing about. So I don't know, like, comment, subscribe, and hype. And if you're enthusiastic enough, I might do another one. But, like, I really, really need some enthusiasm. So I guess if you hated this, that's all I'm saying. I don't know. I'm being such a goober today. I don't know what's up with my energy. I'm just like kind of silly goofy. Point is this was like a fun little exercise to go through and see how expensive theoretically we could say the Rainbow High characters' outfits are from series one. So let me know all of your thoughts and your opinions in the comments down below. I'm gonna stop talking before I say something else dumb. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye guys.